Okay, here we have a basic video on drip irrigation. It's not really that complicated. You need to start with, of course, a water source. The gray hose that comes out of the bottom of the screen there is either connected to a rain barrel, which is located up at the house about an 8-foot drop, or to your house spigot. I try to water out of the rain barrel because it's warmer water, better for your plants, a little less shock. Gives a chance for the chlorine to evaporate. But coming off here, and I have a pretty advanced drip system right now. Coming off the main line, I've got a splitter. One splitter goes to a hose that I do some hand watering with. And the other splitter goes to the 4-way manifold. In the manifold, there's the yellow hose coming off the left, which actually goes to a sprinkler for my corn. And those 3 large black cylinders are actually filters. You want to make sure you have a filter installed so that your drip emitters don't get clogged up. On the ends of each of those, coming out, you can see those little white cylinders. Those are pressure regulators. They keep it down to 30 psi so that you don't blow out your emitters when you're using the garden hose from the house with too much pressure. Works very well with just rain barrel water. Doesn't need a lot of pressure to run. Most of the emitters anyway, the ones that I use. Then you could see there's 3 black lines coming out. I've got my garden sectioned off into 3 zones. The one zone goes to the left, and there's 2 zones that go to the right. Now if we follow the hoses around on the edge of this bed, you can see that I have a T connector in this, and that T goes over to this bed. And in this bed, I'm not sure if you can see with all the glare, there's a green handled valve, a couple of angle connectors, and that connects into the top of my bed. After I planted my plants, put silver film down. This actually has Texas tomato cages in it. And then the black line, as it comes off, I know that sun's really bright, you can see right there I have I've punched a hole in the line, and there's another one down there. And inserted in there is a 1 gallon per hour emitter. And then coming off of that, you see the smaller hose that winds around here over to this plant. And I've got it all stapled in with garden staples. And it's that way throughout the bed. Go all the way down. Each one of those has, you see the little black lines coming off to the left and the right, 1 gallon per hour emitters. If you follow this line back down, you can see here I have another valve. And this valve's actually turned off, and then I've got a cap on it because I'm not using irrigation in my garlic bed right now. Follow the hose around to that way. There's another valve right there. It's kind of behind the board. And then this bed has its own drip system. The valves are so that I could turn them off. If a bed doesn't need water, I can selectively turn them off or turn them on, depending on what my irrigation needs are. I try not to water my tomato plants more than once a week. Now this bed is my sweet potato bed. I've got a little different system in this. The valves on the other side of the board there. Then I've just got a piece of main line coming out, and then off of it I have some different kind of emitters. These are actually 2 gallon per hour emitters, and there's 3 of them, and coming out of them are soaker drip lines. You can see they run, there's a little better view right there, they run the length of the bed, and they're spaced, I believe these are on 6-inch spacings or 8-inch spacings. They've got built-in emitters, and every 6 to 8 inches they run a drip. You can see the wet pattern on my soil here. Don't have any runoff, not much evaporation. Now the other kind of drip that I do is with my pepper bed. This is a new system I set up this year. The nice thing about drip irrigation is you really customize it to whatever needs you want. And you can see on the right I've got my main line coming in, and then up here at the top of the bed I've got 4 branches coming off. Each of those branches is put together with one of those T connectors. And then at each one of these bags, actually I turned my punch upside down. There's an emitter, and I think you could see it on that one there. Just to the left of the stake is a 2 gallon per hour emitter. I'm going to run it for about 10 minutes or so, so you get a little less than a quart of water. And I run it all the way down to the end. At the end, you basically just bend the hose and you put this little figure 8 connector to seal it off. This is a completely separate system than my tomato beds because these container plants need a lot more water because they're above ground, a lot more evaporation. Roots get a little warmer. But each bed has its own system. Some beds don't have one installed right now. This bed here with my beets, lettuces, doesn't have anything in it. When I pull these out, I'll put beans or squash in here, and then I'll probably run the soaker drip line in this. And really custom make it. Anything you need, you can see that one there has a valve. Also, I like to put a pipe clamp and screw it to the side of the bed so that it's a little more stable. I leave the hoses that are on the ground and drain them in the winter. And then, depending on what crops I have in each bed, I just connect from right here, just disconnect that system, put it in another system. So like if next year I had sweet potatoes in this bed, I could take this system out of this bed, lay it in here, and take this tomato system and put it back in this. So you can really switch it around so you can rotate crops. Drip irrigation is a little bit complicated, but it's not anything too advanced. I buy all my supplies from dripworks.com. They have excellent customer service, very fast shipping. Ordered some parts on Thursday morning and they were here Saturday morning. Very quick service. They have excellent connectors. They're easy to use. All you need is a good heavy-duty pair of scissors or shears to cut your main line with, and the rest of it's all toolless. You don't need pliers, you don't need any heavy-duty stuff. They're pretty good size connectors, so even the ladies won't have a problem putting them together, taking them apart. Not a lot of effort involved, just a little bit of time. But if you set your garden up with a drip system like this one, it's a lot of work right now in May to get it all done. But the rest of my summer, I don't have to worry about watering. It's all taken care of. Flip of a switch, or I have a timer set up, and I can go fishing.